Here we are, top of the hour, and it is Tao of the day. Thank you so much for joining me. I am always grateful to be able to present Tao of the day here on Wisdom. The Tao of the day is a time where I get to share the Tao Te Ching with you. What is the Tao Te Ching? The Tao is an ancient text written about 600 BCE, and that is about the same time that scholars think that the Old Testament was written. So yes, it is considered an ancient text. If you have a number between 1 and 81, definitely join me. I am always looking to have my buddies come up. Julie, if you have a moment, I'd love to share the Tao with you. And here you are. Well, don't let me coax you into it. I'm just saying, would love to share it with you if you have the moment.
Good
Julie,
morning.
I saw you were up after 2 a.m. this morning here on Wisdom. What are you doing?
I couldn't sleep.
You couldn't sleep. How did your talk go? Did
Sorry?
anyone? How did it go? Did you share? Did you get any insight? What was going on?
Yeah, I really did. It was really good.
Good.
It's very good. Lots of people um, giving me some input that was quite pleasant.
Good, wonderful. I don't often open wisdom too much during the day. I'm always kind of like running around trying to do other
It's
stuff.
like,
But yeah, living my life and doing my thing, and you
that's
know,
good.
uh, and conversations are kind of at the core of so much of my work. So it's like just adding more sometimes is exhausting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of I saw it pop up, and I was just like, oh, Julie, hope you're well.
I am. I just couldn't sleep at all. It's really weird. It's descriptive of being able to see the air and space between me and the walls, and it was kind of uh, it's really difficult to describe it. It's almost like something's going to happen. You know when something is occurring and you're on that kind of alert feeling. You're very very aware of your space. And I
Yeah,
couldn't sleep. I couldn't.
and you're not
I
in your
used.
space, right? Like you're in your daughter's space, right?
Yes, yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, um,
And
I'm very
like that's
aware of.
have you been able to sleep there before, or has it
Oh
just
yeah.
always been a little, eh?
No, always really, really good. I'm really good at putting my head on a pillow and 3 seconds later snoring and dribbling into my own hair. I'm really good at that.
Okay. That's
A
that's
beautiful
that's a
image.
hair
Yeah.
regimen that not everybody has.
That's so funny.
But no, okay. Well. So do you feel like something's looming?
Yes.
Is it the
It's
ride?
almost, it's, well, no, it's almost something that, like an event it's almost like I'm going to find a piece of information that
Mm.
is astonishing. It's like something's happened somewhere that will
And its
yeah,
ripples are about to reach you.
yes, perfectly put.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I know that feeling. It is a beautiful feeling to be in that space of like, hey, something's changed. I don't
Mm,
know what it is yet,
yeah,
you know?
that's it.
So, in that, I am going to let's look here. We're gonna pick a different translation for us today.
Oh, goody. I do like
Yeah.
that. I have a number.
All right. Well, let me go with R.L. Wing in 1986. Give me your number.
Number 11.
Number 11.
Mm.
It's funny. I chose this a little for a brief moment yesterday. I was only on for a very short time yesterday, but 30 spokes converge at one hub. What is not there makes the wet wheel useful. Clay is shaped to form a vessel. What is not there makes the vessel useful. Doors and windows are cut to form a room. What is not there makes the room useful. Therefore, take advantage of what is there, but make use of what is not there.
I shared it, Brad. Sorry, I'm just gonna just hold a second.
Yep.
I shared it. There you go. Right. Sorry.
No, you're good.
So I'm sorry about that. I got distracted, which is unusual, but I can see Brad walking about in front of me looking for something. So I'm just giving him the heads up.
So let's,
So
yeah,
what's
so let's,
not there is space. What's
yeah,
not there is the thing that I felt yesterday. It's useful, an indicator, a feeling, the vessel being a holder of the thing that's not there, but it's still there to be able to contain. Do you know what I mean? So what's not
yeah.
there is not
So
part.
right.
Yeah,
So here you have a feeling, right? The feeling is the thing. The feeling is the spokes coming together. The feeling is the clay pot, and it's holding this nothingness, this absent. And you're looking for the vessel. You're looking for the thing. You're out there in the world, and you're saying, "Here's a thing that I can't express. I can't have." And this is the wonderful thing. Like like let's look at homelessness for a second, like because you were on your bike and you had to live out in the open air for quite some time.
mm,
you know when you're out there, like, all you want to do is find something to make out there not so out there.
yeah,
We want to find a container for the space in which we find ourselves, because the space in which we find ourselves is so vast, it's overwhelming. When
yeah,
you find yourself without walls, without a tent, without any way of closing off some amount of space, it is so daunting and it is so scary and it is so overwhelming that it really kind of makes it impossible for you to calm your mind.
yeah.
When you have this feeling that you're going through now, the feeling that you're having where it's like, I can't sleep because I feel there's something looming, there's energy that is not contained in an explanation.
Mm,
It's not contained in an action. And you're like, I feel like it's an event. It's a big thing. It's something big. It's not
mm,
something small. It's something that feels like I'm going to get this information and I'm going to be able to put it into a box.
yeah,
And so I would I would posit that maybe you can, like when you go outside, when you go outside and you're out in nature, it's cool. It's great. You can, like you guys were at the beach the other day, like you
mm.
were just having all of this beautiful open air. But if you didn't know that you had your sister's house
My
to be
daughter's.
able to, what's
Yeah,
that?
my daughter's Jaleesa's.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Your daughter's. Sorry.
yeah,
So your daughter's house. If you didn't know you had your daughter's house, and I knew that. Sorry.
yeah,
And your daughter's house, you would be out there in that open space, so overwhelmed with all of the space. But
yeah.
you can go back and close it off. And that's the thing that's making this moment difficult, because you have this feeling, this open feeling of something that is undefinable, something that's out there in the world, something that's open and doesn't have a limit. It's like, this just feels this way. It just feels, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to explain it, and I don't know how to compartmentalize it. I don't know
Mm,
where to put it. And the thing is just like the outdoors, there's nothing wrong with the outdoors, but we do want to limit how much we can see sometimes.
yeah.
So we can put it in a box. We can put our life in the box of a house. And then we can go out from time to time and have these other experiences of the vastness of nature, the vastness of space. And the feelings that you're having could just feel huge. And yet they're not in a box. Like if you could say, "Oh, that's a birthday party I've just been invited to," right? As soon as you get the invitation to the event that you are feeling, you are going to be able to contain it. And then the feelings won't be so overwhelming.
Yeah. It's almost like noting something, but not being able to note it. Do you know what I mean? It's like noticing something, but not being able to define it. It's very strange. It's good though.
It is, yeah.
It's
No,
not. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was
no,
just
no.
something I
It's,
noticed.
it's just
But you're
like
so
being out
right
at the
about,
beach.
yeah,
All of that vast space, that doesn't make you uncomfortable. But it helps to define space when you
yeah,
know you can compartmentalize it into a room at your daughter's house.
yes, yeah,
When you know that there is a way out, when you know that there is an end, where when it is endless, when it is the vastness of space, like when you're homeless,
yeah.
you look out at the world and it's not bad, but it is a lot.
An experience. It's a
Yeah,
completely changed experience
right.
that way. Yeah,
And this is, like this one in this translation, it has like little chapter titles. And the
yeah,
chapter title for this one is called Using What Is Not.
yeah,
And so I'm going to reread it again. The first section is all the same thing, which is 30 spokes converge on a hub. What is not there makes the wagon useful. Clay is shaped into a vessel. What is not there makes the vessel useful. Doors and windows are cut from to form a room. What is not there makes the room useful. And here's the thing, like holding on to what is there gets us stuff, but it is what's not there. So this feeling, and what I would look at maybe is like, oh, when you do, if there is something to find with this feeling, find the find the structure that holds this feeling. When you do that, if that happens, it would be really interesting to differentiate. How do I feel now that I have a structure versus
yeah,
how I felt when I couldn't sleep? And then be like, because the nothingness came first. That feeling, that emptiness. It's like that something's here. I don't know what it is. Once I put it in a structure, then I'll know what it is. But is it the same? Because if it is the same, then allowing the nothing to take the place of something, becomes futile. And if you can differentiate, maybe you'll be able to find a way to, allow the nothing to be nothing even more.
yes. I get
You know?
exactly what you're saying there.
Yeah, without having to put it into a structure of, oh, this was the lottery win, or oh, this was something else. Because when we feel that way, we often look for pacifiers when we can't feel comfortable completely in what is.
Yeah, yeah,
So we take advantage, and the last line is therefore take advantage of what is there, yes, but make use of what is not. And you are being gifted in this moment the presence of what is not without the advantage of what is there, because you don't know what is there. But you're
kind
being
of.
gifted this sense of what what may at one point have a structure that you can take advantage of. But right now you can't really take advantage of it because there's nothing to take advantage of. Like you're just you're you know
Experiencing just
you're
that.
just experiencing something that is not yet.
Mm.
And is it
Yes.
possible? Is it possible that that is like, and when it has a structure, you're going to be able to celebrate it, but it's not going to be
Mm.
any different than this moment, because this
No.
moment is giving you that which you will use,
Later.
but that
Yes.
is what is not what is.
Yeah.
Crazy,
Mind blowing.
mind blowing. How long are you at your daughter?
I'm here until Monday night,
Okay, and then
and then
off you
it's
go.
into the nothing.
All right, you can come up again to just wrap that up, but yes, and then back off into your journey, your pilgrimage. I believe that's where you're going to be going as soon as you're done with your daughter.
I get to go and pick up Brenda and Bertie bicycle.
Yeah,
And
and you must be very proud of your daughters.
yes, yeah, I really am. The biggest pride I have is their ability to love.
Yeah,
That, for me, is wonderful.
yeah, and they're
They're,
like
they're
yeah.
giving and kind, and they enjoy being alive. That for me is everything.
Hmm. And like that's not, those things come and go, like that enjoying, like being alive, like your life is the thing that's there, but the enjoyment you have is the thing that's not there, right? Like
Mhm.
that's the that's what you fill your life with, enjoyment, just like, so your life is the vessel, what you fill it with, and is like you utilize that empty space within the vessel. Your life
Yeah,
is empty. Like your life, like you're given your life and it's empty. And there is purpose to everything, to every moment. Now, if you can find it, if you can embrace it, and you can live it, that's purpose. That is, using what is not.
yeah, that word has really popped up over the last couple of days.
What word is
Purpose,
that? Purpose. Yes.
purpose. Yeah,
Do you know
because it
anything about logotherapy? Have
no,
you heard logotherapy? Logotherapy, logo comes from the Greek word meaning. And so, like, it's about finding meaning and finding purpose in life, and recover yourself. Although I built all of my stuff without knowing about what logotherapy was, I
do that
talked to
again.
somebody and I was like, "Hey, like, this is what I do," and they were like, "Oh, that sounds like what we do, and we follow logotherapy." And logotherapy,
You do.
was essentially explained in a book, Man's Search for Meaning. I believe that's the title, by Viktor Frankl. And he discovered this while in the concentration camps in World War II.
Crikey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's all about finding purpose and all about finding meaning to you.
Yeah,
He would say, like, as soon as he saw somebody in the concentration camps just kind of like sitting in bed and smoking cigarettes and has given up, they would have died within a couple days. And it's like
yeah,
it's about having purpose for your life, even under the most rigorous of adversities.
yeah. That's it. That's the key. That's it.
Yeah, and you on your pilgrimage, that's creating um, some adversity. That's creating something to rise above.
Yes.
And that something that Mojo and I have spoken about, this idea of being anti-fragile. Like in order to grow, in order to strengthen, in order to temper your life, you have to expose it to some things that will be hurtful. You can't just wrap yourself in bubble wrap your whole life and expect that you are going to be able to face difficult times. Difficult times come, you face them, which makes it possible for you to face more difficult times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully, much better times.
Yeah,
You know.
more equipped times.
Yeah, yeah. How so in terms of your pilgrimage and other things like that, how's the attention, how's the press, how's the donations, how are you getting along? How is all that?
I have noticed because we've had to put another take on our journey, which is
Yeah.
obviously going back. I've now given it a lot of attention at the start again of this, to let people know exactly where we are. We have given information about why we went home and what we did when we got there, and now we're continuing this journey. To me, it's difficult because part of it was the fact that we cycled continuously day after day to a certain point and got across Britain, which was amazing. Even when we were coming down to Cornwall again to pick up the bikes and things like that, that was amazing to think that we'd travelled all that way. We hadn't even really thought about it.
Right.
We knew about the space and all of this, but when we were actually in a car and seeing these signposts go back, where we'd been and how far we travelled, it was astonishing. And we realised how small Britain is. It's small, but even so, what an achievement. And
Yeah.
now we have to pick up that mantle and continue, but it's changed. It has changed. So um, my experience of asking the ether to a degree has also been tweaked.
Yeah.
So I now have to have like a new skill to exercise, to throw out there, to give.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's been good. It's people, like I've said before many times, attention spans are short these days. They're quite, because of how we've evolved as human beings and with technology. So attention span is small. So any information that I give is going to be short and sweet. It's going to be presented that way. Have a snack. Have a snack. And
Yeah,
by the
like
time you've
Andy
finished,
talks about that as candy. You guys
yes,
just want
yes,
candy. Let me just give you a
yes.
little piece of candy. And Andy's always like, I don't give candy. Like it's long game, like big stuff. And I understand what you're saying, but
But
like
candy to me would be too much. So I have to provide the snacks, the good
yeah,
snacks,
yeah,
which at the end of the journey would turn out to be a banquet. That's the way I'm viewing it. So that by the end of the journey, you've tried all sorts of things. You've had all sorts given and experienced, and so it becomes a banquet when you look back on those little snacks that I've given you about the journey. This, we're here today.
yeah,
Look at this, and that is how I'm going to have to go about this journey from here on in. Because we've done a lot of eating already. People are
yeah,
starting to feel a bit full.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a strange one. It is. It has changed and molded and evolved, but that's okay.
Mhm.
That's
Absolutely.
okay. That's all part of it.
Yeah. And as we're kind of wrapping this up, I really think this first line, 30 spokes converge at one hub. What is not there makes the wheel useful. It's that hub, that empty space in between the spokes. And,
Mm.
as you're on your journey, I want to just, as you're riding down the road, I want to suggest maybe like every now and again you meditate on that empty space. That empty space that made it possible for you to put um, an axle through your wheel, because
Yeah.
that wheel is separate from the whole bike. The
Yes.
axle is separate from the whole bike, and and it is the axle that goes through the hub that makes that bike help you travel across Britain.
Yeah.
And while you're riding, if you just clear your mind and think of that empty space. Think of that emptiness. And the emptiness isn't even turning. The wheel is turning. The emptiness is where you got to put the axle. And the
Yeah.
emptiness is just being held. You're taking up a little space within that emptiness to put something. But if you didn't have that emptiness, if you just put the spokes together and it was just solid, well, that wheel would be useless. As a child, I remember things like that. Like, oh, I can make a wheel. When you draw things and stuff, you forget about the empty space because you're so focused on the thing, on the structure, and you
Yeah.
forget about the importance of the emptiness. You forget about the importance of leaving something out.
Yes.
That brings to mind, not to harp on this, but when you would make like when you would make like bubble letters, or when you would draw something and you'd forget, like, oh, the A I need the space inside of the A in order to make it an A. If you didn't have the space, it wouldn't be an A.
Yeah. I get you. I get that completely.
Yeah. And so, yeah, maybe being able to, like, because we picked 11, being able to think about and meditate on that emptiness. The emptiness inside of your daughter's house that separates shore from her door, like, and what.
Yeah. Even the fact that she's not here,
Yeah.
because it's all around me. I can see all of her things, but she's not here, and I can feel that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of nice.
Yeah, maybe you can
Because,
even feel that she is there, but physically she's not,
yeah.
right? Because that's
Yeah.
the thing, that which is not there. Well, you make use of that. You make use of the fact that she is there, but she's not physically. And that's a big thing. Like just thinking about that emptiness, that space that we leave behind when we walk away from something. Even
Mm.
when we say goodbye, like, you are going to continue to be with me, and I hopefully will continue to be with you, but we won't be there. We won't be in physical contact, and yet we know and we share these moments anyway.
Yes. Yes, we
Mhm.
do. Yes.
Oh, Julie, thank you so much for joining me. And 11, like I said, 11 was the number I picked yesterday, and I never really got a chance to go through it because I just wasn't in the mood. And so it was great to be able to go through it today at in such detail and with such
And
with
also,
with you.
that's prime. That's prime, isn't it? It's
It is.
prime that I picked that number. How
It is.
strange.
It is
Lovely.
beautiful. All
Thank
right.
you
Well,
so much.
oh, absolutely. And I love you, and I'm so glad. And you enjoy, I don't know, the next, what is it, like 4 or 5 days, like, just being with Brad and your daughter's house, and
And enjoying all the amenities and
yeah,
having that anchor
and really
for a while.
notice them,
Yeah.
be with them, running water, hot and cold, and a door,
Absolutely, yeah.
you
The
know.
comfort of a very
Yeah.
high bed. The legs on this bed are astonishingly high.
All the mod coms that you can enjoy them, because
Oh,
and know this too shall pass. Just like, here
yeah.
we are, let's just enjoy this now. Look at this high bed, let's climb in.
Mountainous.
It is beautiful.
But
Beautiful.
yes, yeah, it's the comparisons, it's the opposites, it's that I enjoy. I
Yeah.
really soak that in. I love that. That
Yeah.
pleases me so much. Makes me
Oh,
content.
I'm so glad to hear that. How is your daughter in Disney World?
Oh, she's just sent me a picture of Paris. Oh no, I mean not Paris itself, but she has sent me a picture of Paris. This is what I mean. We're looking for the space in between. And the space in between is the picture of the Eiffel Tower. That's what she sent me.
Ah, okay.
So
Yes,
yeah,
that is
she says
that is
it's bigger than I
quintessential
thought.
Paris, right?
Yeah, yeah. So she's having a wonderful time and shared that with me in a lovely way. Just the picture she sent the other day was of her outside the castle, the Disney castle, with
Oh yeah.
30 written on it because they're celebrating their 30th year in Paris.
Ah,
And
okay.
my daughter celebrated her 30th birthday, and she's taken her daughter, my granddaughter Lily, whose birthday is today.
Oh, happy birthday, Lily.
She is now officially the best year ever. 7. Great year.
Oh, what a great year. Oh man. She's 7 on she's 7/21 is her birthday.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Take
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing all of that. If anybody has a number between 1 and 81, definitely step up and join me. Oh, Andy. Oh, the love of my life.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. I am
Well,
just I did some mindful movement in the middle of it. I decided I was going to lie down and just do corpse pose, and that was great. And now I'm starting a nice early Tao of the day.
I saw that. I looked at my battery of notifications. I don't know if battery is the right word because I keep
That is
everything.
probably the right word.
Yeah, I have like a I keep on personal focus because I don't want to hear about what anybody's doing
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
But then I looked and I was like, oh, okay. So So I didn't know if you had anybody in your queue, but since it seemed like you didn't, I was like, I'll jump up and pick a number. What the hell?
Oh yeah. Let's have a good number for today.
Has anybody picked 39
39. In the past, people have, but not today. We only had number 11 this morning with
with
Julie.
Julie?
Yeah, and
I
now we're
caught the end of that.
yeah. Oh, just good morning.
Good morning. I haven't spoken to you yet this morning.
I know. So this is really nice. Okay. So in harmony with the Tao, the sky is clear and spacious. The earth is solid and full. All creatures flourish together, content with the way things are, endlessly repeating themselves, endlessly renewed. When man interferes with the Tao, the sky becomes filthy. The earth becomes depleted, the equilibrium crumbles, and creatures become extinct. The master views the parts with compassion because he understands the whole. His constant practice is humility. He doesn't glitter like a jewel, but lets himself be shaped by the Tao as rugged and common as stone.
We haven't done this one before.
You and I have not done this one before.
I like this.
This is a good one, and I think this one is very, I think of this, and like I think of this, in my parlance of like living under the influence of stuff. We all like are set up to try and glitter like a jewel. We're all set up. Go be you. Go be great. Go succeed. Go do something. And really, like I think you and I have talked about this. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of that. And I'm sick of being asked to care about that. And like that's where this final line kind of really like wraps this up of just like be rugged and common as stone. And that relates back to like in harmony with the Tao, like when you can be a stone, the sky is clear and spacious. But when you're trying to take and take and take and take and take, like you're trying to glitter like a jewel, like you're making the sky filthy. You're depleting the earth. and the equilibrium crumbles. And those are the things that pop out to me.
I like the nature aspect also. I told you about peeing on that flower yesterday. I don't.
Yeah.
I know nobody probably is listening to this,
Nobody, but I mean,
but
yeah.
I peed on a flower. So, like for anybody that might be listening, I am at my mother's in Pennsylvania, and we don't have woods where I live in New York City. But when I run here in Pennsylvania, I get great joy in taking a piss in the woods when I'm done, because I think I was a man the last time, and I love peeing in public in the woods. It makes me feel like a man. And I'm not a man, so I have to pull down my shorts to do this. And this flower touched my ass, and I got the distinct feeling that the flower was like, "Hey, watch where you're putting your ass." I was like, "I'm so sorry. I'll move over." And oh, my mother's phone is ringing. How disruptive. Far out. But it was that. It was about like this idea that humans think we are so much more special than all these other parts of nature.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't respect each other, and we don't respect nature, and we don't respect things.
Yeah.
Like, and I talked about that, like, I think I told you about the book Ishmael that I really liked. It was a fiction book, but it was all about like kind of how humans are the virus, and we like produce more food than we need, and we try to preserve life so much. Like any other animal is quite content to kill another animal just to have food to eat, and the death of that animal they kill to eat is just part of the order. Like
Yeah.
it's just part of the order of things, just like we would, kill our food and it would be just part of the order. But somehow we're just so wed to the fact that because of how our prefrontal cortex developed, that we're so special in
Yeah.
comparison to all other life. So we don't respect it. And so the way that this number is talking about the way that the earth falls into the state that it does when man gets involved with his thoughts about his grandeur and his
Yeah.
importance. That really is what stands out to me.
Yeah. That's it's funny. I was talking with exchanging emails with someone not long ago, and we were talking about surrender. And I was like, oh, like, yeah, when you surrender, you're in harmony with all things. And they responded, absolutely. And when you don't surrender, you are also in harmony with all things. Like paradoxically, it is. You are, like, no matter what, you're in harmony. But it feels so much easier when you can just surrender to it. It's just like you can be in that space. And we read this first couple lines with in harmony with the Tao. And I always look at these things, the next couple lines, which is the sky is clear and spacious, the earth is solid and full, all creatures flourish together, content with the way things are, endlessly repeating themselves, endlessly renewed. Like, I look at that very much abstractly. It's not just the sky, but it is your mind is clear and spacious, your body is solid and full. Like,
Mm.
everything within your body can flourish together, you and your neighbors, you and your cells, content with the way things are. So if you're hungry or if you're full, you're content in this moment, however this moment presents itself, endlessly repeating themselves. So like you're going to go through that process over and over. It's a cycle that we go through. I remember watching like those like Planet Earth documentaries, and you always see the animals in that cycle of life where it's just like they just have to make it to the wet season. They just have to make it but like that week before the rain starts, like they are starving. And it's always like, oh man, like that made me really feel like life was so, oh God, do I got to do this for the rest of my life? Go through that.
Yeah. That's why I want to die like 50% of the time. You know? But you do. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. And trying to be content with the way things are under those circumstances, understanding that we want to be in harmony with the Tao, and maybe we won't want to die as much as we get to that, because this is, the sky is spacious and clear, the earth is solid and full, all creatures flourish together. And that's the thing, all creatures flourish together. And I think that, when we're watching nature shows now, we recognize that, well, why is nature like that? We move into this next section. When man interferes with the Tao, the sky becomes filthy and the earth becomes depleted. Equilibrium crumbles and creatures become extinct. There's so much interference.
Well, we would like to remove the creatures that we find to be, like we want to remove the termites that eat our house.
Right.
Well, because the termites are a pest. Well, the termites just eating the wood.
Right.
There was there's these sharks in New York right now. Now, there was this years ago. Okay, this is going back years. There were all these shark attacks. And there was this woman, I forgot her last name. Her first name was Pooh. And she was this big, effervescent, flamboyant, personable, lovely, just big lady. And she was just big personality, but big physically, just big. She was this big, boisterous lady. And she did this video and was like, the ocean is the shark's house.
Right.
When chickens come in my house, they get ate. When pigs come in my house, they are on the plate. And I never forgot. God, what the hell was her last name? I'm gonna have to look it up. But she was like this big Southern lady. Like, when chickens come in my house, they get ate. And it was just so profound she was a godly woman from what I remember after stalking her content. But it was so profound in the way that she delivered it, because yes, you're going into the ocean. So if you go into the ocean, the shark wants to eat you. And we're doing all of this shit to keep the sharks from eating people from going in the ocean. It's happening right now in New York. You and I found a shark's egg.
No, that's what I was. Yeah, I was just like, oh, this is a shark's egg. I didn't know that this would come to bite us in the end.
literally. But the shark's egg is there because the shark is there, because that is the shark's house. And you're gonna put your fleshy, bloody body into its kitchen, it's going to eat you. And it's like, we think, oh no, man, we got to stop the shark from eating us. And it's like, bitch, bitch, fuck off. Right.
So, and I always think that my whole life, I always thought that animals will align to realize that, we're fucking shit up. And they they have a right to rise up and if I got mauled by a coyote on my walk, I would not blame the coyote. Just like when I got stung by the scorpion, bringing that up again, I did not blame the scorpion.
What else is it gonna do? You're sitting your naked ass there in the dark, and it sees you. What's it gonna do?
I'm trying to brush it away because I think it's a rock, because I can't see it, and and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna protect myself, and all the more power to him.
What's it gonna do? That's the thing. So
the master views the parts with compassion because he understands the whole. And I think this is what we're talking about. We have to understand the whole. Yes, the house of the shark is the ocean. You want to go in there, you're going into the house of the shark. And we practice humility, and we don't glitter like a jewel. That's the thing. When you try and limit the sharks, then you're not being humble to the fact that you're here with the whole.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't glitter like a jewel, but lets himself be shaped by the Tao, as rugged and common as stone.
People have trouble with that.
Yeah, we like you were saying, we have this teaching, we have this frontal lobe that says we're better.
And we're not.
Very speciesist.
We're not.
No.
We're not better. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything.
No.
It's
I
really.
say most of my life I looked at like my pets, like the animals around me, and they know so much more. They can just chill the fuck out.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm in this. So I have my group, and now that we're in like the 5th or 6th week of it, it's so interesting because all their old story is now coming out. And all of their stories of importance are coming out. And this is what I love about this point in the journey is that, all right, now I get to see some ego and I get to play. Like, so somebody wrote something this morning, this old story of like importance. And I just wrote, remember rule number 6, Wayne Dyer, don't take yourself so goddamn seriously. And he was telling a I don't know if it's a parable, but he was telling a story about that. And that was my only response to like 3 paragraphs of heavy text. Don't take yourself so goddamn seriously.
Absolutely. Yeah, we all really like to think we're important. Run around, tell people what we think, what we know, like live our lives as if our existence is important and that we can't lose the human species. But we surely can. And it's okay if that happens. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
It's true. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll talk to you, I'm sure.
Yes, we will. Love you. Oh, and I did have someone in line. Jenny, if you are there, please step back up. Otherwise. Oh, Jose. Hey, Jose, how you doing, man?
Martin?
I am well. How are things on your end?
Better.
Good. I'm glad to hear.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can expound on that with a little Dow. Do you got a number for me?
Yes, I do. Actually, 36.
36. Bingo. Okay. If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard, overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery and just show people the results.
Wow. I understand that. You have no control over anything. You have to just let it happen and then, find a resolution for the thing you can't control. Any objectives, any obligations, any, certain situations that you absolutely can't control.
Yeah, the universe, the Tao states the universe is forever out of control. You're never trying to, you don't try to control it.
No, you can't.
So like these first 3 sort of pairings, right? If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. So where are areas of your life where you've had to practice this subtle perception?
My family.
Ah, in what ways?
Well, I'm going through a divorce. I went through a divorce already. And there's things I can't control, which I have to let it just be. And there's things that I can take control of and take absolutely, the most positive equivalent factor of it that I have control over.
So tell me about something that you've wanted to get rid of, or you've wanted to shrink or even expand? Is there something that you've wanted to improve on that you've had to allow to shrink first?
Well, pretty much, Birdie taking control of my, well, not having control, but having custody of my children.
Yeah, so here's something that, like if you want to take something, right? You want to get custody of your children. You must first allow it to be given.
Absolutely.
So who has custody of your children at the moment?
My ex addicted wife.
So your ex has custody, and you have to allow that to be given. You have to allow that space. You have to allow her to have that, rather than having any of that frustration or trying to control the situation to get. You have to really sincerely in your heart allow your ex, allow yourself to give her custody. And through your allowing that, what will also happen is you will be able to get more custody, or get more relationship with your children, and all of those sorts of things. And I know that may seem counterintuitive, but this is called the subtle perception of the way things are. If you can completely allow that which you want to take to be given, if you can give it up completely, then you will receive it. That doesn't mean you're going to, because in order to completely allow it, you have to let go um, of the desire to want it. That's how it happens. Like, that's the subtle perception. When you get rid of the desire to want it, that's when you get to receive. That's when it comes in. Because when you have desire, that desire pushes things away. This is called, once again, the subtle perception of the way things are. This isn't obvious. If it was obvious,
Of
it
course.
wouldn't be true. If it was obvious, it
But
would.
this is just a process of reaction formation.
Of what now?
Reaction formation.
Reaction
Formation.
formation. Okay, yes, reaction formation. Sure. But when you can exist in the subtlety of the way things are, which is when you can completely relieve yourself of the desire to have that, meaning that you have completely given custody to your ex. You have not just allowed it, but you've given it freely, completely, with your whole being, and you believe that it is the right way. That's the only way that it's going to open up and shift, because it's subtle. It's not obvious. Because when you only do it halfway, and you're kind of looking over your shoulder, wondering when the universe is going to give you the thing that you've given up, well, then you're paying attention in this way. You're actually adding a lot of energy to it not being, because you're focused on the fact that you don't have it. But when you allow yourself to give it completely, that's the subtlety of where you're at. And that's what this is saying, right? This is saying, like, if you want to take something, if you want to have something, you must first allow it to be given. And you got to give it up completely, even in the desire to want it. And I know that that's a tough thing, because you say, well, if I don't have a desire to want it, I'm going to be seen as this and da 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 da. You're thinking about other people again. But there are no other people.
Of course not.
The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. Just show people the results. So often we want to tell people, look what I did. Look what I did, and take credit. And look what I did, and take credit. You're not here to take credit. We're here to just live our lives, and this is your life. And the more desire you have in your life, the more you push things away, the more desire you have to exist in a certain way, the more you are not open to the subtle perception of the way things are. Like you're looking at the obviousness of things, not the subtlety. So that's what 36 has to say. Any thoughts? Did I lose you? Hello? Did you mute yourself? Okay. Jose, thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate it. Jenny, thank you for coming back. I'm going to swap out Jose and we're going to bring Jenny up. And Dr. Rao, I see you there. If you can stick around, great. If not, we will connect soon. Jenny, how are you?
I am so good. How
I'm
are
doing
you?
very well. I'm doing very well. It's been a while since we've chatted. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. I go through a couple pockets on my way to work, and I think I dropped in one of those
Oh,
pockets, so I'm glad I got to
I'm
come
so
back
glad
up.
you did too, because I saw you come back up in the middle of
Yeah,
Jose's, and I was just, and
yeah,
maybe he dropped, and it just worked out that we can get you in. I don't want to, because I
that's
really
awesome.
love connecting, and I'm glad that we can connect here.
Okay, so the number keeps on, in my mind's eye, keeps on coming up over and over again, and I'm so curious to what is going to unfold with number 22.
22. Oh, it's interesting. This one is a little similar to the last one that we read, but it focuses on the self. So, if you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become straight, let yourself be crooked. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, then give everything up. The master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings. Because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. Because he doesn't have anything to prove, people can trust his words. Because he doesn't know who he is, people recognize themselves in him. Because he has no goal in mind, everything he does succeeds. When the ancient masters said, if you want to be given everything, give everything up, they weren't using empty phrases. Only by being lived by the Tao can you truly be yourself.
Wow. Very, very, there is no coincidence. We both know
Yes,
that,
we do.
but very
Yeah.
appropriate. Very appropriate. Um, so I know that you and I have talked in the
Mm-hmm.
past, and
And I'm like
there
one of my questions is, are you heading to the dealership right now?
I
Yeah.
am. I have 20 days remaining at the dealership. I did it. I let
Congratulations.
go of
Yes.
everything so that I can keep and have the space to become and in my desires.
Yeah.
And through the beginning of the Tao today, there has been a lot of just allowing and a lot of like getting to know me and diving inward. And I can truly say that when I am aligned with my inner being and my truth and my love and my passion, then the external validation and proving has just faded away. And it's not just because it's been years
Yeah.
that I've
Yeah.
been
I remember
um,
we talked not long
at,
ago. We talked a couple
yes.
months ago, and I'm with you.
And a couple months ago, I hadn't even made that decision.
Right.
So there was a lot of just being and not forcing and not trying to get external opinions. And I really went inward. I've been off of both apps, just kind of being quiet within my own
Yeah.
alignment and within my own desires because I. Um, for sure. I was addicted to external validation and
Mhm.
thought and did a lot of things that I thought I should do based on what other people wanted me to do. And now I can truly say that I'm so, so excited to create the life that I want to live instead of the life that I
Yes.
should. And it took a while to get here, but it is in perfect timing because I also will be very honest with myself, and I already want to jump into the next thing, and that's the
Yep,
addiction there
yep,
too,
yep, yep,
to
yep.
always do. So I'm going to take that pause, and I'm going to keep going within. It's an inside job
Absolutely.
for the
Yeah,
rest of
yeah.
my life, going in my career and in my um, I just truly just this knowing of this, my core desires connection. I will connect, and now that I'm vibrating at a different vibration and a different energy, I will be attracting the most beautiful beings in my next chapter and in my life, to still give, to still lead, it'll just be on a different, more allowing and uh, it's like Abraham Hicks, and she's helped me get to, and in her teachings, that in I can keep paddling upstream in my canoe and keep paddling and keep paddling, but when I just let the oars go and allow the boat to float, that's what I'm going. That's what I'm know that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my career, or my next chapter in my career and in my life and in my relationships and in my self discovery, because I'll always be discovering new things, and I'm excited for that as well.
Wow. That is so. When's your last day at the workshop or at the dealership?
September 1st.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So it's ripping the band-aid off, which is good too, because I know
You've been working on this
myself,
for a
and
minute.
I,
This is
oh yeah, oh yeah,
So
yeah.
so here's an interesting, like as we look at 22, we're going to start going through this a little bit. If you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. Here's the thing with, the Western model, as Andy would say, and what we're dealing with here, and what you're talking about is like, we used to think, there used to be this idea, if you want to be whole, control everything in your life, right? And be in control of everything, be the boss and be the best and be, like all of these things, and be the best as other people describe you to be. But like what you're talking about, especially and I can use here, we can use the Abraham Hicks, cork or let go of the oars scenario, where it's like, if you want to become whole, let yourself be partial, meaning you're not in control. Let the river take you. You are now a participant, right? You're not controlling it. You're partial. You're not controlling where the boat's going. The water is. The current is controlling where the boat's going. So you're not in control. You're being partial.
Yes, and I feel that in my in my heart, that that's where I needed to get to in order for the rest to
Yeah.
unfold, or allowing the rest to float. And that's exactly it. Like, my definition of success has changed when I became impartial. My story, the story I told myself, oh my goodness, became impartial to that as well, and just allowed the universe to put this beautiful magic in front of me, and with this knowing, taking action instead of the
Right.
controlling, just the allowing.
And I'm skipping a line, but then there's another line. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. And here is the thing. Like, if you were to have stayed at the dealership, if you were to have stayed in all of the things, like, you would already be full. You would already be full of all this other stuff people have put in your life. So in order for you to get full, you have to empty yourself of all the other stuff. A couple weeks ago, I started just getting rid of all of the things that weren't serving me. And then a week or two later, new opportunities just started presenting themselves. Whether or not those opportunities are going to turn into things that serve me, I don't know, but it's new. If you want to be full, let yourself be empty. Get rid of this so that you can open up space in your life to be able to allow yourself to be full. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. And that's a big deal, right? You're letting the old Jenny die so the new one can be
Mhm.
reborn into who you are. And then finally on this top half, if you want to be given everything, give everything up. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah, and it feels like there's no grief there. It doesn't feel that I'm losing anything. It took this long to get here, but I have only just this excitement for the space that I've allowed to be in front of me to create again the life, co-create with the universe, the
Become
life that's going
partial,
to be,
right? Like now you
become
aren't
partial.
the
Yeah.
one doing it. You are doing it in conjunction with. You are not in control.
No. And I'm leading another retreat at the end of August. And guess what the topic is? Letting go. That's our intent for the
Yeah.
retreat, with a beautiful group of women, helping them also be able to, you have to let go of the old in order to have space for the
Yeah.
new. And that's exactly this Tao. So it's
Yeah. A lot
perfect.
of times,
It's,
people
of course.
become afraid of death, and even death of, I always talk about like everything's going to end. This moment is going to end and be born into the next. Even like my relationship with Andy, we talk about the idea that like this right now is going to end and going to grow into the next moment, which is going to grow. Like we have to be able to see that is everything is forfeit. Everything will die, and when it dies, we can it will be reborn into something new, and we don't have to be afraid of death. We don't have to be afraid of letting go and not being in control. By residing in the Tao, the master sets an example for all beings. Because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. Because he has nothing to prove, and I love this one, you have nothing to prove, so people can trust his words. I mean, when we hear people like with so much to prove all the time, how can you trust them? They're trying to prove something. Because he doesn't know who he is, people can recognize themselves in him. I think that's the beauty. Like, 6 months ago when we talked, you knew exactly who you were. And now it's like you don't know. And it's better to not know who you are, because then you're not part of an identity that got created for you. You're just here being who you are without an identity.
And it feels just so, again, there was I was on a talk last night on Clubhouse, and we were discussing letting go, and is there a grieving part of it? And there is no grieving part of it. There's only excitement to just continue to be, allowing and trusting that the universe is going to unfold by me having this emptiness. Like there is no grieving. There is only excitement for the
Yeah, at
rebirth
this
of
moment,
Jenny
I would argue that
at this
maybe
moment.
you have grieved already for a couple years.
Yes.
So
Oh,
the
yes.
grieving process
As
exists. Do
leading
you
up to
have grieving now?
leading up to the
Yes,
courage,
right,
leading up to the courage to take
right.
action on following my heart and following my
And when
passion.
you have
Yeah.
grieved enough, and when you are complete
Hmm.
grieving, then it opens up, right? This is in my parlance, like this is the recovering to who you are versus like recovering from what you've been, right? All of that grieving was the trying to step away, and then it opens up and blossoms into actually the strength to be you. And that's not, you're not done. Like that's going to be hard work. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest, like that's not going to
Yes.
be easy stuff.
Yeah.
But you are ready to step into it, and it is going to it's going to be a challenge, and that's a
Yeah.
challenge that you're willing and ready to take right now, and that's beautiful. And then, when the answer, when the ancient masters said, if you want to be given everything, give everything up, which is what you're doing, they weren't using
Yeah.
empty phrases. Only by being lived by the Tao can you truly be yourself. That means only by getting rid of the ors, only by living partially, only by only by living your life in cooperation with the universe and the Tao can you truly be who you are.
That feels so peaceful.
Yeah.
I just took a big
Yeah.
sigh, and I feel so content. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
And you know,
I need to get that sent
I
to
can
me
I can send that to you.
as
I
a
think we're
reminder.
connected on WhatsApp.
Oh, I'd love it.
So yeah, I can send
Yeah.
that over to you. I'd be happy to.
Oh, so
Yeah.
good. It might even be incorporated in my itinerary for my retreat
Yeah.
at the end of
Well,
August. It's
you
beautiful.
keep me in
Yeah.
mind if you ever need someone to come in and talk. Yeah,
All
I would
right.
always be happy
Okay.
to participate and contribute. So
Okay. Well, you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you so
you as
much.
well. And
And
congratulations on
I knew that.
putting in your date.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll talk
We
soon.
shall. We shall. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Well, that is it for today, everybody. That's the Tao as we have it. We got joined by three J's and an A. We got Julie, Jose, and Jenny, and then the love of my life, Andy Scarantino. So much love today with everybody. I appreciate it all. Um, Jenny, congratulations on putting in your September 1st date to be done with that part of your life and moving into the next. And you know it's interesting. So much transition today, right? Julie's going to be going to get her bike on Monday or Tuesday next week. Jenny's leaving her job. Jose is dealing with trying to really let go of his desires to have custody of his kids and allow what is to be. And yeah, such a beautiful. And we were talking with Andy about her relationship with the universe and with the nature and how a plant touched her ass and said, "Hey, look out, I'm here too." It's all about sharing. It's this space that we have where we're not alone, and yet there are no other people. So we got to recognize that everything that's in front of us, is the Tao, and and if we want to be whole, we have to let ourselves be lived by the Tao in this moment, not knowing who we are. Thank you so much for joining me. If you benefit from the work that I do, you can send me a little financial tip through Venmo at @MartinJohn_Garcia. Check out my podcast, Recover Yourself, on my website, martinjohn.com, or you can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. Yeah, I'm around, and if you're interested in chatting with me about embracing your life and embracing that which you are recovering of yourself, reach out to me, DM me over on. You can message me here possibly, or you can DM me on Instagram, where I always answer DMs. So yeah, hit me up and we can have a conversation. Well, I'm Martin John. This is Tao of the Day, a Recover Yourself production. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.